Hey guys, welcome to an impromptu broadcast of the Bobby Hesley Show. Just did an awesome interview with my friends over at churchmilitant.com. Great Catholic apostolate, pretty controversial. A lot of people have a love or hate relationship with Church Militant, but I've been following their work for a long time. I got pretty fired up over an interview that I just did. I thought, you know what? It's been a while since I've had the camera dusted off. Been a while since I had the mic in front of me. Why not just break out and just do an impromptu broadcast just to check in with everybody, say hello, let everybody know I still love you, still care about you, still think about you. I've been off the grid, man. I warned you guys. I warned you in early 2021 that your man Bobby Hesley was going to be off the grid, and I would suggest that you guys do the same. Yeah, good to hear from you too, Bradley. Good to hear from you too, man. Always good to hear from you guys. And just as I broadcast, I get a business text that comes in. Hey, Megan, how are you? Good to see you. So how you guys doing? How are you guys doing? What up, though, from the 313? What up, Seiko? So yeah, I'm just checking in, guys. I'm pretty much in the private sector now. I've been doing very well with real estate. Good to be back, Dizzy. I just been doing a lot of real estate, guys. Here's where I've been. Okay. And again, this is nothing I haven't said on previous broadcasts. And I'm not trying to be like a doom and gloom alarmist kind of a guy, but I truly do believe, guys, I truly do believe in my heart of hearts that the middle class is shrinking by the day. I believe that the opportunities for upward mobility to pull yourself up by the bootstraps are becoming smaller and smaller by the day. I believe that America we're slowly turning into a banana republic. It's crazy what they're doing to Trump. It's crazy. It's unprecedented what's going on right now. And what I truly believe is this, guys. I believe that you should be focused on getting as close to God as you can right now. I mean, you should always be focused to getting as close to God as you can. I should take that back. There should never be a time where like, oh, we should be like, you should always be trying to get close to God. But I think you should be trying to get closer to God than ever before. By the way, speaking of being close to God, if anybody's wondering what my background is, the month of June is the month that is dedicated to the Sacred Heart of our Lord Jesus Christ. The Sacred Heart of Jesus is the human heart that God, who became man in the womb of the Blessed Virgin Mary, loved us with. Like it says in the Gospel of John, he loved us to the end, to the point where his heart was pierced by a lance in John 19, verse 34. So in the month of June, we honor the Sacred Heart of Jesus, that heart that burns with love for us, that same heart that was pierced on the cross for our sins. So that's what my background is. I know a lot of people don't like the Catholic Church. You guys think we worship Mary. You guys think we worship wafers. You guys think we worship the Pope. You think we pray for the dead in purgatory and all these superstitions. That's not the case. I've got a whole channel that I'm actually going to be building. I'm going to build a separate Catholic channel because my first love is Catholic apologetics. But the fact is, in the Catholic Church, we love Jesus so much that it's not enough for us to just say we love Jesus. We love everything there is about Jesus. We love every stage, every aspect, every phase of the life of Jesus. You know, we have devotions to the Christ child. We have devotions to the infancy of Jesus. We have devotion to the holy name of Jesus. We have devotions to the 5 holy wounds of Jesus. We have devotions to the precious blood of Jesus, to the body and blood of Jesus, which we just celebrated last Sunday during the Feast of Corpus Christi. We have devotion to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. We have devotion to Jesus Christ, King of all nations, devotion to Jesus as Good Shepherd, devotion to the name of Jesus, devotion to the divinity of Jesus, to the humanity of Jesus, to the crowns of Jesus, to the scourging of Jesus. There is not a single thing about Jesus that we Catholics don't love and adore. We even dedicate an entire 40 days during the season of Lent to honor Jesus Christ time in the wilderness. How often do we honor Jesus time when he was in the desert for 40 days? Right? I think my internet might be going in and out. Let me know. But, you know, a lot of people talk about tithing, right? We give 10% of our income, 10% of this, 10% of that. Well, as Catholics, we tithe a tenth of the year, according to Pope Gregory the Great, right? How long is a year? 365 days. How long is Lent? Approximately 6 Sundays, 36 times, so we tithe the 10th of the year with Lent. So we don't just tithe our money, guys. We tithe our time liturgically. I said all that to say, guys, now is the time to get as close to God as you can. And to make it sound even a little bit profane, now is the time to try to make as much money as you can. That's what I've been focused on, guys. I just been focused full time, 100% on my real estate business, because I truly believe that if you're in the middle class, your opportunity to try to, get into the upper middle, or at least get to the point where you don't suffer shock every time you go to the grocery store or the gas pump. I'm telling you, that time is scaling down with how inflation is going, with all these regulations that are happening, all this social chaos that's coming from the Biden admin. I just think it's useless to just argue with people online all day. YouTube has updated their policy, so I can say that the 2020 elections were stolen. Thanks again. Thanks, Big Brother. Thanks for the freedom of letting me say what we all know. 2020 was stolen. We all know that. I've got, I was right at the TCF Center with all my good Black Voice of Trump friends. We saw the fraud up front. We were there when they put the pizza boxes on the freaking windows when they were counting the ballots. Okay. 2022 was stolen. Okay. It should have been a red wave, the likes of which we haven't seen since 2010 midterms, when that red wave swept in and just destroyed Obama and the Democrats for the rest of his first term. So much so that he got such a shellacking. I don't know if you guys remember this, but he went on a $200 million 10-day vacation with Michelle and all of their entourage, Valerie Jarrett and all their little goons. They wasted $200 million of our tax dollars to cope with how badly they got defeated in the 2010 midterms. We should have outpaced those 2010 midterms with everything Biden has done since 2020. And yet we kind of won. We lost a few because it was freaking stolen, guys. And there has not been done anything that's been done on any level to ensure election integrity. And all these key swing states, there's still open borders to where people can lie, cheat, and steal when it comes to the elections. And think about it. If they stole 2020, if they stole 2022, and nothing was done about it, what's going to stop them from stealing 2024? I'm just telling you. Don't make Master YouTube mad with all this truth. I know, man. I know. I'm actually shocked that they reversed their policy on the whole election stolen thing. I couldn't believe it. I almost lost my channel a few times over that. But I'm not saying to give up, guys. What I'm saying is to shift your energy. Okay, I think it is useless to be an activist right now. And I'll put it to you like this. It's useless to be a shill for the Republican Party right now. Let me just say that. I've been doing a lot of reflection on all of my work that I put into the 2020 election. For those of you who don't know, I spent the majority of 2020 stranded in Thailand as a COVID refugee. It was like the best 10 months of my life. I call it an extended staycation. I absolutely loved it. I even got a little bit depressed when it was time for me to come back home. I was stranded. So all the toilet paper runs, the death of George Floyd, the lockdowns, I missed all that, guys. I was in Thailand. I was 8,000 miles across the globe when all that happened in Southeast Asia. But I was looking on from afar while my country burned. And that was kind of the birth of my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know, if you go all like way back into my early YouTube archives, my YouTube channel was born during my sweaty walks in Thailand. I used to call them walk and talks, and maybe I'll get back into doing those. It's nice out in Michigan. I literally just had a selfie stick with my phone, just spitting thoughts, spitting facts, spitting theology, spitting politics and things like that. What's going on, my guy? What's up, Stanley? Always good to see you, brother. And when I got back, let's see, the damage is already done. That's why they switched the policy. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they will reenact it, Seiko. I agree with that. They will reenact it. I wouldn't be surprised because they're going to steal it again, guys. I'm telling you. And none of us do anything about it. None of us do anything about it. So, I mean, we could speak out against it, but you can only speak so much if you're being censored and throttled and blocked and canceled and deleted and demonetized and all this other stuff that they do. So I'm not saying to give up, guys. I'm just saying I think you should shift your focus to things you can control. I've been focused a lot on my health, trying to get back in shape, trying to get my money right, trying to get my relationship with God right. I'm just trying to be in an optimal position to where if the crap hits the fan that I think is going to hit the fan, I'll have options. And I think you guys should do the same thing. I'm not an independent. I mean, by default, the Republican Party is the lesser of two evils, but the Republican Party has had quite a hand in a lot of the damage that's been done to the country. The Never Trump wing of the Republican Party. Don't forget, guys, the governor of Georgia, okay, Brian Kemp, and the Secretary of State of Georgia, Brad Raffensperger, they screwed Trump out of Georgia. That wasn't Democrats that did that. That was Republicans that did that. Okay? That was the Republicans that laid the way for Raphael Warnock to get elected, for who's a chick, Stacey Abrams to do what she's able to do. That was us, guys. When I say us, I mean Republicans, not us, because, you know, we're the purists of the party, right? We're the real conservatives. But the fact is, Republicrats, there's not much of a difference between Republicans and Democrats these days, unfortunately. There's not. They're controlled opposition, in my opinion. Michigan, and I might tick off a lot of my Republican friends in Michigan. I love all you guys to death, but I believe that Michigan has some of the deepest Republican corruption throughout the whole state, and that's why I'm so happy that my good friend Christina Caramo, she may not have won against Jocelyn Benson. I believe she did win, but again, the thing was rigged. Okay, and she pivoted. And rather than just marinate in her wounds and in her defeat, or defeat in quotes, because I really do think she won, she ran for the chair of the Michigan GOP and she got it. And she's trying to cure the Republican Party in Michigan from within. And she's up against a lot, man. There's a lot of opposition within our own party. So the way I look at it is this. I went hard for Trump for those years that I did. I made a fool of myself for Trump for those years if I did, which I don't regret. But at the end of the day, and I love Donald Trump, and I hate to see what he's going through. I really do. I would not want to be Donald Trump right now. I think it's terrible what they're doing to him. But it's like, I've had mixed feelings about him because he throws us pro-lifers under the bus after Roe versus Wade gets defeated. He throws us under the bus, and he kind of blames our defeat in 2022 on the abortion issue. My guy, you're the one who repealed Roe versus Wade, my guy. You're the one who put in Amy Coney Barrett and Neil Gorsuch and Kavanaugh. You're the one who put in those three justices that we all knew you put in to repeal Roe versus Wade. You actually said that you were putting them in for that reason. So it's like you put these three guys in, right? They repeal Roe versus Wade, mission accomplished, right? We were all happy about that. And then when it gets repealed, you throw us under the bus and you blame the repeal of Roe v. Wade on why we lost in 2022. So it's like, I've got mixed feelings about Donald Trump. I really do. Again, I hate to see what he's going through. I don't know if the charges they have against him are going to stick or not. I don't think they should, because as the Supreme Commander in Chief, it's up to you which documents you declassify. You have total authority. You have unilateral authority over which documents you deem classified or declassified. And every president has the right to declassify documents and store them wherever the hell he wants to store them. He could put them under his toilet. He could put them in his. He could put them in Melania's, dresser drawer if he wanted to. If they're declassified, he has the right as a president to do that. Okay, so I don't know if this whole thing is going to stand up. I don't think it will. I think they know it won't stick, but they just want the optics of him pleading in court, him pleading not guilty. They want the optics of the perp walk, of him walking in and out of court, so they could use it to either try to prevent him from getting the nomination in 2024. Or if he gets the nomination, now they got some sound bites. Now they got some video clips to be able to basically, use it against him in 2024 election, that we have a declassified document criminal. Let me just put it to you like this, guys. They are trying to turn Donald Trump into the 2024 version of Hillary Clinton. Right? That's what they're trying to do. Yeah, she may have kept classified stuff on her email server, right? But they're trying to Hillary Clinton Donald Trump right now. And they're trying to get a year-long advance on that. And when people say things like, you're no true member, keep switching your words up. You're entitled to your opinion, Helena, but I'm not the one switching my words up. It's Trump. I mean, he is he pro-life or not? Why is he mad at the pro-lifers that put him in office, that reelected him overwhelmingly at the 2022 midterms? you know? Again, the Republican Party is the lesser of two evils. That's why I'll still vote Republican. But I have, unfortunately, 2016 and 2020 were the first two times in my life where I didn't have to hold my nose when I voted Republican. I feel like in 2024, I have to go back to holding my nose to vote Republican. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I got to go back to holding my nose like, okay, let me vote for John McCain. Okay, he's better than Obama. Okay, let me vote for Mitt Romney. Okay, he's better than Obama. Like, I got to go back to voting Republican like that. And I'm sick of that. I've been doing that my whole life. And I just wish the Republicans either embraced who they truly are and stopped running away from the social issues. I truly wish that they embraced the whole facet of conservatism instead of just the country club aspect of everything. Yeah, it's good to want low taxes and small government. It's good to want a strong military. But, you know, when it comes to these social issues, guys, we got to be conservative on those too. You know, we have to stand up against the Rainbow Army. We have to stand up against them trying to sexualize our children, trying to mutilate our children with all this gender identity stuff. And, you know, we need to be trying to get those people into the church, not into the Republican Party. You know, we need to stop trying to build this big tent of all are welcome, all are welcome. Well, what if the people that we're welcoming have values that are fundamentally hostile to what we stand to what we stand as conservatives, right? If we're all about family, you know, we need to be preaching to these people that live lifestyles that make having a family incapable, right? That's just the bottom line, guys. You know, a lot of times, you know, we don't realize if you study history, the Republican Party has its hand in a lot of bad things. Now, what are the good things about the Republican Party? Okay, they ended slavery, right? They passed the Civil Rights Act of 1964. We've got a good history of fighting things, but what's one of the most powerful agencies that puts one of the biggest strains on the economy? If you're an entrepreneur, who is your biggest enemy? If you're an entrepreneur in the manufacturing sector, in the energy sector, in the oil and gas sector, in the transportation sector, all of which are sectors that the backbone of this country is built on. They are the veins and the arteries of the United States of America. We wouldn't be able to run without our farmers. The EPA, right? You guys remember cap and trade, all these climate change controls, all this green crap, this green technology, all these restrictions. You guys know who created the EPA? Huh? It wasn't a Democrat. It wasn't a liberal. Who created the EPA? I'll let you guys, we'll do a little bit of trivia. I'll let you guys tell me who created the EPA. You're right, Ramez. It's been a while since I've shared. Let me see here. Who created the EPA? Let's find out. Who created the EPA? Can you guys see my screen? Oh, look. The EPA, the government agency that bullies pretty much every business in the United States. Look, it was created by a Republican by the name of Richard Nixon. Wow. I thought the EPA was created by Barack Obama over dinner with Hillary Clinton that was cooked by Nancy Pelosi while Joe Biden sat and watched and dozed off to sleep while he was drooling. That's who I thought created the EPA. No, the EPA was created by the Republican Party. And look at the monster that it's turned into. Look at the monster it's turned into. Hey, guys, this runaway inflation that we have. You know, back in the day, you can get a loaf of bread for a nickel. You know, you could take your family to Disneyland for $1.25, including flights and hotels and entry to Disneyland. Who took away the purchasing power of the US dollar? This out of control inflation, okay? This out of control inflation that we like to blame on people, right? We like to blame inflation on Biden and Obama and all this money that they've been printing and all this quantitative easing and all this stuff people have been doing, right? We like to blame people, but let's see who created inflation. Let's see. Let's go back to the history books. Let me share my screen again. Man, this is such a perishable skill. I haven't done this in a while. Let me reshare here. Who created inflation? Let's see. Let me unshare. Okay, here we go. Wow, they make things so much more difficult than they need to be. So, guys, what are the roots of inflation? Well, would you guys believe me if I told you that at one point in time, the United States dollar was backed by gold? right? It was backed by gold. That's why we had so much purchasing power with the US dollar. Who took us off gold? Who took the US dollar off of the gold standard? Was it Barack Obama? Oh my gosh. It was Richard Nixon. It was a Republican that actually destroyed the US dollar. Look at that. It was a Republican, guys. It was a Republican that is to blame for this runaway inflation that we have, for this dollar becoming more worthless by the day. It was Republicans that started that, bro. They started the EPA. Hey, while we're at it, and I hate to go here, guys, where did Roe versus Wade come from? Oh my gosh. Who made abortion the law of the land? Was it Barack Obama and the Democrats? Was it some liberal? Who was the Supreme Court that decided Roe versus Wade? What if I told you that the Supreme Court bench had decided Roe versus Wade by 7 Republicans? What if I told you that Roe versus Wade was decided by majority Republicans? Did you guys know that? These are uncomfortable truths about our Democrat Party. Listen, I know we like being Democrat or being Republican, but these are some uncomfortable truths, guys. These are uncomfortable truths about the Republican Party. And the fact is, it was a Republican majority on the Supreme Court. Look up Henry Blackmun, Blackmun. It was Republicans that decided Roe versus Wade. It wasn't Democrats. It was Republicans. Now, to our credit, it was Republicans that repealed Roe versus Wade, right? Majority Republicans on the Supreme Court. So we undid the evil that we started. But the fact is, I'm saying all this to say this, guys. The Republican Party is far from perfect. Okay, it is. And I see a lot of people that have this allegiance to the Republican Party that they should have to Jesus Christ, that they should have to his church. And I believe that your political opinions should be shaped by your religious convictions, not the other way around. Okay? I know it is a very uncomfortable truth, Bradley. It is. The EPA, all this climate crap that persecutes businesses started by Republicans, a crappy, useless U.S. dollar that's backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. It was a Republican, Richard Nixon, who destroyed the U.S. dollar. It was doomed from day one in 1970 when he took us off gold. It was only a matter of time. 50 years later, look at the cost of living compared to 50 years ago. You can go to Las Vegas and get a steak dinner for $2. How do I know that? Because I'm a huge Elvis fan. And I used to watch all those old Elvis documentaries where he was in Vegas and they would show built $2 steaks, right? How much is it for a steak dinner at Ruth's Chris now? $80 a piece. Whose fault is that, a Democrat or Republican? Well, you get that kind of runaway inflation when you take us off the dollar, man. 100%, Seiko. Being Republican does not make you righteous. It doesn't. It could be a reflection. It could be a small, consequential, secondary reflection of your righteousness. Like, I can't vote for a party that stands for all the horrible things the Democrat Party does. So it could be a reflection of that, right? But one has to be greater than the other. So I said all that to say, guys, I know I'm all over the place. I haven't broadcasted in a while. I just think you guys should, like I've always said, focus on those things you can control. There's a lot of crazy stuff that has transpired in these last few years before I went off air. You know, there's a lot of, man, if I would have just kept my YouTube channel going, I don't know. Okay, so I'll be vulnerable to you guys. There is no particular agenda for this broadcast today. I don't think it would be good for my mental health if I was a full-time content creator. I still don't think it would be today. I think it's very toxic. And all of you content creators know, Seiko, you know, right? You're a full-time content creator. I think it's very toxic to our mental health to be full-time content creators. Why is that? Because of all the garbage and all the sewage that you have to digest on a daily basis in order to make commentary on it. We make it look easy. We flick on our camera, we flick on our microphone, and we make it look easy to give you guys our analysis of the news and the politics and the cultural goings on of the day. But you have to ingest a lot of filth, a lot of sewage, and a lot of garbage into yourself. Okay, so you agree. You have to ingest a lot of garbage into yourself. You have to take it into your spirit. You have to act like a living kidney, because you know what our kidneys do, right? The sole function of our kidneys is to purify things that we ingest, right? To turn them into urine or feces or whatever. Like that's what our kidneys do, right? So you have to be like this big giant kidney that ingests all this filth, all this garbage, all this demonic activity into yourself. Okay. Then you have to like spin it with your Christian worldview and regurgitate it to your following in a way that they can digest. But you have to take a lot of fiery darts and a lot of arrows in order to get that information into yourself, to get it out of yourself to your audience in a way that they can understand and not want to go crazy. It's almost like you have to suffer mental insanity on behalf of your audience in order to keep your audience from going insane. And it's not mentally healthy, guys. It's hard to do, man. I'm telling you, it's really, really hard to do. And then there's kind of this formula. Like if you want to, and I kind of realize this, like if you want to blow up on YouTube or social media, you've got 4 things to do. You've got 4 things to do. If you want to be a YouTube sensation, and it's even getting hard to do this now, just with how saturated YouTube is. But you basically have 4 choices. You can either be a buffoon. Okay. You could spread the buffoonery, right? You can jump out of planes. There's literally, I forget the guy's name. Guys, who was the YouTuber that literally jumped out of a plane, filmed himself jumping out of a plane? I think he's facing like life in prison. He jumped out of a plane that he was piloting just to get views on his YouTube channel. I appreciate that, bro. Highlight it, man. You have prank channels. You got these guys walking up to people, moaning in their ear, licking their ears, farting by people, walking up to dudes on steroids at Home Depot, minding their own business and farting behind them just to get laughs. There's this one YouTuber, he goes to like these bodybuilding conventions. His whole channel is based on him purposely bumping into people, like these big jacked up dudes that are on steroids that would just snap them in half. His whole channel is built on him bumping into those guys just so he can get viral views. Guys, did you hear about that YouTuber that was arrested in London for breaking into people's houses? It wasn't forced entry. Like he would literally walk neighborhoods looking for people that had their doors opened. Okay. And he just let himself inside of their house. There was this one mom, she was at home with her young kids, black dude with dreadlocks, walks into her house, man. He's lucky he did that in London where it's illegal to have guns. If he'd have done that in freaking America, dude, he'd have been killed, man. You don't walk into somebody's house like that, but he did it for the views. It landed him on Piers Morgan, right? It did. He got a Piers Morgan gig out of it. Okay. So that's one way if you want to blow up on social media. If you want to grow your channel overnight, be a buffoon, be an idiot, put your life in danger, put other people's life in danger, like jumping out of an airplane that you're piloting just so you can get views. Okay. Second thing is gossip. If you want to blow up your YouTube channel, just become a gossip, become an outrage broker. And I'm guilty of that. Yeah. Try that in Texas. Exactly. Try that in Florida where they have stand your ground laws. If you want to gossip, guys, there are entire channels that are built on nothing but gossip. Who's fornicating with who? Who's committing adultery on who? Who's in some financial scandal? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? That's what gets views, guys. People want that tea spilled. They want to see that petty gossip. They want to tune into that gossip, right? You got all the red pillars. And I know a lot of those content creators that are in the red pill community. They call it the manosphere. Right. A lot of what they have to say is true, but a lot of it is, I think, is an overcorrection of feminism. It's like a male version of feminism. And if anything, they're actually living out the praxims of feminism, unrestricted sex, unlimited access to unlimited women. That's feminism, guys. Unlimited sex without consequences. It's just a bunch of guys promoting it. But a lot of that is filled with gossip and guys making hit pieces on each other and outing each other and showing screenshots of that's gossip, right? Another thing, if you want to blow up overnight, promote sex, right? Promote promiscuity, promote debauchery, promote paganism, promote heathenism, right? We've heard of lonely fans. That's what I call it. I don't call it OnlyFans. I call it lonely fans because, lonely fans preys upon the lust and the desperation of lonely men, right? If you want to blow up, show some cleavage, show some curves. That's how you can get insta famous. You want to become an influencer? Nobody's going to listen to you if you talk about anything but that, right? And what's the fourth one? So there's buffoonery, sex, gossip, and I forget what the fourth one was. I posted this a few weeks ago. Let me go to my Facebook real quick. What was that? In other words, if you want to go viral, right? If you want to go viral, and I wish it weren't this way. I really do. But if you want to go viral, you have to be willing to spread spiritual viruses. That's just how it is, man. That's just really how it is. Yeah, that's what it is. Sex, drama, buffoonery, and gossip. So the fourth way to blowing up on social media, blowing up your channel, is drama. You know, hit piece videos, all the stuff we see, dancing on the graves of people when they die. When Kevin Samuels died, when some of these big YouTubers died, you got Andrew Tate, who I believe is nowhere near off the hook. He's actually going to prison for a long time, I think. A lot of people are acting like he's innocent and that they just dropped the charges. Nothing could be further from the truth. Dicot just upgraded their charges. Okay. Matter of fact, what was the interview he did on PBD? Patrick Bet David. Let me find that. His first interview he did is up to, let me see. Let me share my screen here. Man, this is a perishable skill. I forgot how to do a lot of this stuff. Let me see. Let me share my screen. Here it is. So if you go on YouTube, let's see, Andrew Tate, Patrick Bet David, he just dropped it yesterday, and it's up to how many views? Look at that, 7.8 million views in just 2 days. And I watched it. A lot of times I'm driving. And by the way, here's the YouTuber that got arrested for walking into people's houses. This guy here. 7.8 million views for Andrew Tate. I've got a pretty polarizing view of Andrew Tate. Again, I'm just catching up on things I haven't talked about because I've been off the grid. And I'm all about that, Ramez, 100% on self-improvement. And a lot of what Andrew Tate says is awesome. Like, don't get me wrong. But the bottom line is this, guys. Andrew Tate out of one side of his mouth will say, put the video games down, put the porn down, put the weed down. Those are all good things. But I don't really think he has a position of moral authority to tell guys to not watch porn, because he made his millions of dollars that he brags about, all those Bugattis and all those private jets and all that mansion and all that stuff he does. That money was made off pornography. And he's got videos bragging about it. He ran an OnlyFans cam girl studio. That was the source of his wealth. It really was. And then he makes it. He blows up, and then he tells guys to stop watching the very product that he got rich from. Again, a lot of what he says is true, but at the same time, I don't truly believe that he cares about men. I think it's a grift. I think he's a brilliant marketer. I think he's very articulate, but I think deep down he despises men. And in fact, I have evidence that he does from his own mouth. If you guys really want to, give me a second here. I can show you, because it's a popular topic, so I might as well talk about it. Let me see here. Here it is. So let me share my screen real quick. Let me prove to you that Andrew Tate really is just a brilliant marketer, but I don't truly believe he cares about men, because a guy who cares about men does not talk like this. Let me make sure I'm sharing my audio too. Give me a second here. Hold on. Share screen. Let me make sure I share the audio. Real quick, guys, can you hear the audio? Tell me if you can hear this. Can you guys hear that audio? Tell me real quick, because it doesn't have the audio share option anymore. Oh, you know what? Hold on a second. Can you hear that, guys? Oh, you can't. Okay, hold on. I'm struggle streaming here. Man, they really changed their settings on StreamYard. Hold on. Let's see. Stop the screen. Okay, hold on a second, guys. I hate struggle streaming like this. Here we go. Share tab audio. Here we go. All right. Real quick, can you guys hear this?
I don't want to use the word lazy, but I will.
You guys hear that? Let me know. Let me know if you.
They have no interest in world conquest. They want to be comfortable.
All right, good. All right, now, again, Andrew Tate, he markets himself as this guy who cares about men. Okay, he markets himself as this guy who, like I said, cares about men. Watch this video. Obviously, I have to stop it and start it so I don't get copyright stricken here. Watch this video and tell me if this strikes you as a guy who cares about men.
If you show a woman how to make $1,000 an hour, she'll think, I can work 2 hours a week. If you show a man how to make $1,000 an hour, he'll think I can make $18,000 a day.
No, that I agree with.
Conquer the world. We want all of it. We want all of it.
I agree.
But I agree with that completely. And OnlyFans has proven that.
It's proven it. They're lazy about it. There's like, give me.
So he's talking about OnlyFans. He's talking about he's a digital pimp, and he's talking about his digital hookers, how he trained them to fleece guys out of money, how to finesse them out of money. So let's keep watching.
Enough for food and rent. Can't be bothered. Lazy. They're lazy. Yep. So we didn't have time for lazy, right? So I was like, no, we ain't got time for that. We're going to make all of the money. But we made this much today. Not enough. There's more money in the world. It's ours. All of it's ours. I got to the point where I was so obsessed with it. I'd be sleeping in bed because the chicks would sleep with me one each side. I'd wake up to go piss. And by the time I finished pissing, I was awake enough to say, all right, 2 hours sleep. That's enough. Get up. Back to work. We're going to fucking kill it. So me and these two chicks.
Language warning, guys. I forgot to tell you. If you got, kids in the room, shoo them out. It's an adult, literal adult content.
And they were about it, right? Because they're getting money as well. Me and these two chicks, we just start fucking hammering the webcam game. Problem is, another thing I knew, when I talk about what women don't find that.
Now let's just stop right there, guys. Okay. Tate is talking about hammering the webcam game. What is the webcam game based on? What is OnlyFans based on? What could OnlyFans not exist without? It couldn't exist without lonely, lustful men, right? One of the worst situations that a man can find himself in, and it is a literal hell on earth, is to be lonely and lustful at the same time. To not have that relationship you want to be in, and at the same time, maybe you're addicted to pornography. That is a deadly combination that will not only send you to the literal hell, the literal Gehenna of fire where the worm dieth not, that our Lord warned us about in the Gospels, but that hell starts on earth. It truly does. So Andrew Tate puts himself out as this guy who loves and cares about men, particularly young men, who are the largest consumers of the kind of content that he puts out with his webcam girls. I want you guys to think about that context. We have a man who says that he cares about men who got rich preying off their lustful loneliness, okay? Let that be the lens through which you watch this video. Let's keep going.
That women don't know what men find attractive. Earlier on this podcast, everything I said, the webcam company I was running proved that perfectly. The women who were on stream were beautiful, but they didn't have a fucking clue what to say. They were saying all the wrong shit, man. Every day they were saying the wrong shit, and we were losing customers. Everything I was telling you earlier.
So again, they didn't. Okay, again, we're all adults here, guys. Shoo the kids out of the room. Basically, Tate is saying here his cam girls didn't know how to be whores. They sucked at being whores. Okay, they were really bad at being whores that make guys want to open up their wallets and their credit cards and their cash. That's what he's saying. That was a flaw in his business model. You guys suck at being whores. We need to fix this because we're losing money. Again, I'm not making this up. It's coming right out of his own mouth.
About wanting to be innocent. They're saying, oh, I've been here, I've been there. I'm like, shut the fuck up. You're talking to some dude. He doesn't want to hear where you've been. He knows you can't be a 10 talking about how you've been to Dubai to some fucking dude in Minnesota who's fat. He ain't gonna ever believe that he's gonna get you that way. You gotta lie to him. You gotta lie to him. She's like, lie and say what? Say that you've never been anywhere because you don't trust men. You can't find a man who's serious. Make him think that if he's serious about you, that nothing else matters.
Wow. Make him think that and again, listen, he is showing his cam whores how to lie to their customers. He's teaching them how to lie. Why? Why does he want his cam girls to lie to these men so they can get more money out of them? This is the essence of what they call a romance scam. Are you guys familiar with romance scams? I actually know a guy years ago. I don't know if he's still alive or not. He was an older guy. He was a heart attack survivor. His wife had passed away of cancer, and he lost his entire life savings, guys. He had to unretire himself because he lost his entire life savings to a romance scam. He built this false intimacy with somebody over the internet who made him think that he loved them. And they committed identity theft. They committed all kinds of fraud. He sent them hundreds of thousands of dollars, and he lost everything, probably to some dude sitting in a cafe in Nigeria. He's got this fake avatar of a woman with a nice chest, nice cleavage, looks like a hot Latina chick. Meanwhile, some dude is sitting in some Nigerian cafe just laughing and scamming the guy. This is the kind of webcam business. This is the webcam racket, the webcam romance scam that Andrew Tate enriched himself off of. And again, I'm not making this up. These are his own words, guys.
Put a famoose
His
on
own
it.
words.
So I'm trying to teach.
See, he's teaching me words. Famoose. Do you guys know what a famoose is? Famoosing is a way, it's a fancy way of saying screwing people out of their money. It's another way of saying finessing you. I tricked you out of your money.
These women, and the women kept fucking it up. So I said to them, it's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm taking over. So what I did is I unplugged their keyboards and plugged a new one in from me behind the screen. So the chicks would sit there and hit a keyboard that wasn't plugged in. And me and my brother, and eventually some staff I trained, would do all the talking. The girls were just famoosers.
So get this, guys. Do you guys know what this is? Let me make sure you guys understand what Tate's saying here. The top G. Okay. He's basically saying his girls were so bad at being cam hookers that he literally took over their keyboards and he typed things to these male victims, these lonely, lustful victims. And they kind of are. They're grown-ups too. It's their fault too. You shouldn't turn to porn when you're lonely, but they succumb to temptation. They let the devil get his hooks in them. And they thought they were talking to this busty, hot 10 model, when in actuality, it was Andrew Tate that was typing them all these words that got these men to fall in love with these women. He committed acts of digital homosexuality, man-to-man romantic conversations under the fraudulent guise of it being a woman on camera in order to get money out of the wallets of these guys.
Just laughing and doing this, their titties out. And they were talking to fucking ice cold hustlers. We were taking their money, all of it. And they come and say, well, what kind of, all of it.
Now listen to these young men laughing. Now these young men, they got a huge podcast. Okay. They got millions of followers. Listen to them laugh at these acts of digital deception and homosexuality that he committed against these male victims of their lonely lust. These are his followers, guys that are the age of these guys that are laughing with their little Red Bulls, their little cigars. He's got millions of these followers that believe that everything he says is Jesus Christ's gospel. And that's the example of masculinity that these guys are posing themselves on. Again, I'm not, this is Tate himself saying this stuff.
Milking them dry. Women haven't got a clue how to famoose a dude. They don't have, because they rely on their looks. They don't have any of the intellect. They have no game, nothing.
There's some, though. There's
nothing.
There's some.
Nah, you get a man with game and give him a female's body, a female avatar. He will fuck a guy up. I had these guys selling their houses, life savings, loans, all of it to me.
You guys hearing this? The men that he supposedly cares about, Andrew Tate, the modern day top G savior of men, who are all victims of feminism and victims of the Matrix, and this savior of men, listen to how he despises the men that he claims to care about and save. Listen to this, guys. This is how he made his millions. This is how he got his jets and his Bugattis and his mansions in Dubai. He got it off the backs of lonely, lustful men that he deceived, that he literally says on camera, he took over the keyboards of his hookers, his digital hookers, and finessed these guys out of his own money. Did you catch that? Life savings to me. Listen to this.
Body, a female avatar. He will fuck a guy up. I had these guys selling their houses, life savings, loans, all of it to me. Give me it all. So
I'm showing it to you, Deborah, because Andrew Tate has millions of young men who follow him. Millions of young men who stand outside of his jail cell, who stand outside of his house, that chant for him and that look to him as their father that they never had. And they have no idea how much he does not care about these men. I'm exposing the evil of it. That's why I'm showing it.
Like, and it's basic shit, right? You'd have a
You
guy.
feel bad or no?
Fuck no. Give a solitary fuck.
Mr. I care about men. Mr. I want to free you from the Matrix. Mr. I think you should work out. Mr. I think you should be a top G, do all this stuff. He said out of his own mouth what he thinks about men. Did you guys catch that?
It's basic shit, right? You'd have a
You
guy.
feel bad or no?
Fuck no. Give a solitary fuck.
Could you tell, like,
I
yo,
don't give a fuck. If you run an alcohol store,
You can't feel bad for people that pay
No,
for
but-
that shit.
yeah. If you run an alcohol store,
Yeah, but they weren't paying for it. They were paying for what they thought were women, right? They were spending money under false pretenses, thinking that they're connecting with this woman, when in actuality, it's Andrew and his brother Tristan that they're talking to.
Yeah.
and most of the people you sell to enjoy alcohol, but a couple of the people you sell to are alcoholics. Do you feel bad? No. Right. So if you come,
I'd be going to hell if that was the case.
If you come and you enjoyed it and spoke to the girl and spent what you could afford to spend, cool. If you turned up, you're
Okay, here's where that analogy falls apart. So he's saying that these lonely, lustful victims of his webcam digital homosexuality deception scam, he's likening them to alcoholics, right? Here's where that analogy falls apart, though. Okay. Not everybody who buys liquor is an alcoholic. I'm a social drinker. Okay. I'm not a teetotaler. I'm not Mormon. I'm not a scrupulous Christian. You know, I drink socially. I don't get drunk, but I drink socially. I could walk to a liquor store owned by one of my Chaldean friends. I could walk in, I could buy guys, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, like truth to God. I've got bottles of liquor sitting on top of my fridge that I've had since 2013. Okay. That are like a quarter used up. I am indifferent to alcohol. Okay, I could be surrounded by it. I could be at a barbecue with beers. I could be at a fancy party with wine being served, vodka. It's not my downfall. I could buy alcohol and not be addicted to it. Okay, so for him to compare these victims to alcoholics, no. Every person who contacts an OnlyFans model that's looking for digital companionship that they hope will somehow translate into a marriage where she flies to America, becomes his mail order bride, every single one of those people are alcoholics. You cannot moderately consume cocaine. You cannot moderately use porn. You can't chastely interact with a digital only cam prostitute model. There's nothing about that you can do in moderation. Nothing. So every single one of these customers were alcoholics. He can't compare them to a guy like me that can walk into a liquor store, that can take it or leave it, as opposed to every single person that walks into his webcam store is an addict. They are sex addicts. So horrible analogy.
Idiot and got a loan out. Is that my problem? No. So I'm famoosing these dudes, right? So the guy would be like, what kind of guys do you like?
I'm famoosing these dudes, not my webcam models. Me, Tate, the top G that cares about men. I'm bilking them out of their own money.
And if he was a young man, I'd say, I can't believe I'm talking to some young guy. All these old creeps are on here. Oh my God, you're so handsome. Why are you even here?
So
if he was an old guy, I would say, oh my God.
See the kid? That's so smart. It's so smart that you figured out how to famoose your male customers out of their money.
Glad to talk to you. All these young creeps keep coming to talk to me. I want a guy who's serious, who's ready to settle down. I know older men will settle down. Sell the dream. Sell the dream. Sell the dream.
Sell the dream.
To the point where
Classic
these guys
scammer.
Falling in love with my models. Serious, big time in love, right? Sending crazy money. And they were convinced they were going to meet the chick. This is almost where I kind of felt bad. Because they were like, can we meet? I've sent you $200,000. Can we meet? Can we meet? Can we meet? And the problem
What was
is
the most?
$200,000, guys, through the false pretenses, them talking to the Tate brothers when they think they're talking to some beautiful woman, right? Sent $200,000. Now, this guy's getting ready to gin up the question, what's the biggest sucker contribution you ever got? Listen how Tate answers.
That one person sent to a model total
million.
Wow.
Million.
Wow.
The guy who claims to care about men, bragging on camera about suckering one man out of $1 million who he thought was sending it to one of his models, when in actuality he was sending it to Tate.
A mil in about a year.
I know you don't feel bad at all.
Why the fuck would I
Yeah,
care?
I don't feel bad either.
So thank you.
You see these guys just slavishly agreeing with him? Why the F would I care? And they parrot everything he says. This guy is their dad. These three guys here, they're looking at this guy like he's their dad, mentor, and role model, and God all rolled into one. See how they parroted? Oh, I don't care either. Tate doesn't care. I don't. Listen to how quickly he parroted him. Listen to this. This is a son trying to imitate his father. Listen to this kid.
Why the fuck would I
Yeah,
care?
I don't feel bad either.
Yeah, I don't feel bad either. You know damn well you feel bad hearing that. I see you guys cringing, but because you got the top G sitting on your couch smoking a cigar with you, you got to slavishly parrot everything he says just so you can fit in and get the approval of your top G internet dad, Andrew Tate.
So thank you. So they'd want to meet the chick, right? I only did a meeting once ever. I had a big customer with my best girl.
How much did that cost?
He paid 50 G's for dinner, just dinner. It was clear it was just dinner.
$50,000 for a dinner. Again, he cares about men, huh? Wow.
A really nice restaurant in London. It was me, my brother, and about 4 of my other kickboxing boys on different tables because he doesn't know what we look like, right? So he's gone to dinner. She's sitting at the table. He's sitting at dinner. He's surrounded by killers, bro. He didn't even know. In case he was weird or tried to drug her or some shit, right? So we sat there at dinner, had the dinner, whatever. Dinner ended, nothing happened. But after they meet the girl once, the fantasy's now ruined. Like, so now they're like, okay, when can we meet again? When can we meet again? You said you liked me. You said you loved me. Hey, why don't you stay over? Then they start getting really pushy, and you end up like losing the customer because you can't keep meeting.
So in other words, he had to learn the hard way that once the meetup happens, right? They've been talking to this chick they think they've been talking to. It's been Tate the whole time. They finally meet in person. Because again, these guys are sending $1 million, $200,000 because they really truly think that they are courting a woman that will become their mail order bride, that they'll come from Romania or Europe or wherever they're from, and that they're going to come to America and marry these guys. Well, that whole illusion ends when they meet in person. And this is how Tate said he learned and pivoted from that so he can keep the romance scam going after they meet. Check it out.
Meeting him without nothing happening. Girl doesn't want anything to happen. So you got to kind of keep it in the fantasy world. So we learned from this. After this, girls cannot meet guys under any conditions. So what the girls would do is they promise meetings. And here's, maybe this is a bit bad. Here's where the famoose would start. So it'd be good. Like, I had a lot of girls who worked for me, and the best was like the Ukrainians or the Russians. It was amazing because they'd get some guy, fall in love. They'd arrange the day to meet, all this shit. I need a visa. Okay, get a visa. I need money for a visa. Okay, how much is a visa? It's $900.
God.
No, but it's not $900 because I went to the
You know why lots of men are so stupid, Deborah? Because lust blinds. It truly does. Lust is a blinding impulse that if it's unchecked, it leads to your utter self-destruction. It is the most powerful human drive that we have, is to reproduce. And it's a good thing. It was given to us by God when he first made us, but because of the fall, because of original sin, because of the wound of concupiscence that we all suffer, that lustful wound can self-destruct if you indulge it. And this is what it leads to. This is what ends up happening.
embassy. They think I'm a risk, and I need a return flight there and back. And I need a hotel. I need to have spending money in my bank account. They won't let me come. Or how much you need? All right, 10 grand. Boom, it's 10 G's. Okay, thanks.
Wow.
Go to the embassy, take a picture outside the embassy, boom, come back. They rejected my visa. They said we have to wait 2 weeks. After 2
So in other words, I've shown you guys enough. In other words, what Tate does is once they meet in person, he just figures out ways to keep the romance scam going. And that's again, why am I showing you guys Andrew Tate videos? Well, that's who everybody's talking about, right? The most Googled man on the planet. But it just drives home 100%, Ramez. If he cared about men, he'd be teaching them not to fall for these scams and not to be so darn low value and spend this type of money on women. 100%. Because that's what we hear about throughout the red pill space, is this notion of a high value man, which to a degree I agree with, right? You have to be a useful member of society, but you don't want to take this high value man. And again, there's nothing new under the sun if you're Catholic, because we've seen it all. It kind of reminds me of Friedrich Nietzsche when he talked about the Übermensch, which is German for Superman, right? The writings of Friedrich Nietzsche, the guy who said God is dead. By the way, he ended up dying in an asylum, by the way. Friedrich Nietzsche, the guy who said God is dead, died in an insane asylum over a woman who broke his heart. A lot of people don't know that. But the Nazis and a lot of these German, forces clinged to his idea of what's called the Übermensch, the Superman, the new man, this ideal man, what we call today in the red pill manosphere a high value man, which is a phrase that had been used for decades in the manosphere space, but it was popularized by Kevin Samuels. A lot of you know who Kevin Samuel is. He passed away last year. But this notion of a high value man is a modern day equivalent of what Friedrich Nietzsche taught about the Übermensch, the Superman. Look that up, Übermensch, which is German for Superman. There's nothing new under the sun, guys. If you're familiar with theology and philosophy and history, you've seen and heard it all. But this just goes to show my point of just how toxic it is to be a full-time content creator. Because think of what Deborah said, okay? Look at what Deborah said. Why are you showing this to us? It is evil. Think of how uncomfortable this video made all you guys, me showing it. I only showed you 5 minutes and 52 seconds, right? Imagine you have to digest hours and hours of this crap every day, and you have to give commentary on it in a way that will help your audience understand it without the same time losing their mind. Guys, I'm being honest. I'm being transparent. That's a big reason why I stopped YouTubing. That's why I stopped doing the content. It was getting to me, man. It's bad for your mental health, man. And if I ever do go full-time content again, which I will one day, the Bobby Hesley Show will rise from the ashes of obscurity one day. I might go in a different direction, guys. I don't know what direction I'll go in, but I am not going to be a full-time content creator that spends his whole day shucking and jiving for the YouTube algorithms just so my content can get seen. It's just not worth the mental health hazard that it poses to me. The life of lots of YouTubers are cut short. It shaves years off your life. It makes you gain weight. It makes you miserable. It makes it hard to sleep because you have to keep up with all the hot topics because you have millions of competitors that are also trying to be viral, that are also trying to grow their YouTube channels, and they're trying to be the first to report everything. You got a bunch of millions of mini journalists walking around that whenever a story breaks, no matter how depraved it is, no matter how toxic it is, no matter how disturbing it is, whether it's a school shooting or whether it's drag queens trying to get 10-year-old boys to chop off their penises, it doesn't matter what's going on. You got to be on the forefront, willing to report that before everybody else does. It's a race to the bottom. It's an empire of nothing. It's a bridge to nowhere, and it's a kingdom of nothing. It really is. And it's toxic. And I would just rather have a full-time Catholic channel, man. We just talk about theology, apologetics. I do debates, which I love doing. Dialogues, debates of all kinds. It doesn't have to just be Protestants versus Catholics. It could be, I'd love to debate feminists. I'd love to debate red pill manosphere guys. I would love to debate Jews or Buddhists or Muslims or secular people. I love to disagree with people. I love to hear other people's perspective. And I love to be disagreed with. Okay. I love, guys, follow my my Facebook page. Okay. Every time I make a Catholic post, whether it's me burying my dear dead mother who died, or whether it's me calling for prayers for Pope Benedict as he's about to pass away, whether it's me saying that it's okay to pray for Tina Turner after she dies, read those posts, guys. There's hundreds of comments that come from that, hundreds of back and forth comments of me arguing with people. And I like to hear other people's perspectives. I really do, because number one, it strengthens my own perspective. If I could see the flaws and the errors in other people's perspectives, and if I can identify them and research their counterparts, it just further strengthens my faith. The more anti-Catholicism that I observe and that comes my way, the stronger of a Catholic it makes me. So that's another upside to it. I did enjoy seeing some of the homes you were rehabbing. Politics were not needed, just enough money to eventually buy. 100%, Deborah. I might do that. Listen, I might start a real estate YouTube channel. I don't know what I want to do, to be honest, guys. I'm pretty agnostic as far as how I'm going to use my voice. I am going to get back to, ministry. I want to get back into pro-life ministry. I want to get back to RCIA, where I'm a Catholic instructor, where I instruct people that are thinking about becoming Catholic. I'm going to get back into doing that. But as far as my public social media stuff, I'm pretty agnostic, guys. I don't know what direction I want to go in, but I'm not going to go in a direction that's going to cost me my mental health. That's for sure. It ain't worth it, man. It ain't worth the super chats. I've never even monetized my channel, but if I ever did, it ain't worth the super chats. It ain't worth the algorithms. It ain't worth the clicks and the views. It's just not worth you losing your mind over this crap that's happening in the world today, every day. There's plenty of other content creators out there that can give their spin on that stuff. And, thanks, George. That means a lot coming from you, brother. It takes a talented and thorough man to know one. And I might be able to do it part-time, guys, but just this idea of being a full-time content creator that does long-form videos every day, I don't know if my mental health will survive that. I'm just being transparent. I'm being man enough to admit that. It's not that I'm weak. It's just that every person has their breaking point, guys. And if you guys were troubled by this 5-minute take clip I played, imagine having a reaction channel where you do a freaking 4-hour breakdown of a 4-hour interview that a guy like him gives. It would drive you nuts, man. It would drive you nuts. And I can understand that, George, because again, Andrew Tate does say a lot of good things, but what we have to realize is that it's truth mixed with error. A lot of the stuff he says is dead on, man. When he talks about, standing up to the powers that be, being the best version of yourself, getting in the gym, being confident with women, all that stuff are things young men need to hear. I get that. The problem is that it's truth mixed with error. And if you don't have the spirit of discernment to discern the truth from the error, you're going to end up like these guys on this podcast where he says, I don't give a F about men. I don't care that me and my brother Tristan are tricking men into sending our women $1 million, and they agree with him. They can't spot that error because they don't have that discernment. They don't have a moral reference point because a lot of them grew up fatherless. A lot of them grew up without male mentors and without male influence in their lives. So a lot of these guys have no moral reference against which to weigh these things that Tate says. Fortunately, I do. Okay, I have 2,000 years of the one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church teachings that I could use as a reference for everything I see, whether it's the red pill manosphere, whether it's a guy like Andrew Tate, whether it's politics, whether it's the LGBT stuff. I have that worldview. I have that reference that I can weigh everything against. I have a filter that could filter out the bad and keep some of the good. But if millions of young men who grew up without a fatherly influence, who grew up without the discernment of spirits, watch these YouTubers, they're going to be led to destruction. They really are. They really, truly are. So again, I'm all over the place, guys. I'm coming up on about an hour now. And let's see, Deborah, when you moved to from Michigan to Florida, I bought a rehab 12 plus years ago, almost 100 years. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I said, I might start a real estate channel, guys. But here's what I'm expecting, though. Here's why people still follow him, Sadir. That's a great question. Sadir is a good friend of mine. He's a great Catholic lawyer up here in Michigan. The reason I think that is, Sadir, is because 100%, George, it's been many years coming. We got to get together soon, man. I think the last time I met you, George, was the first time I met you at Anthony Thoma's Keeping Up with the Chaldeans barbecue. You remember that? We definitely got to hang out, brother. But I think, Sadir, the reason why a lot of people follow Andrew Tate, in spite of how he outed himself with his own hatred of men to get rich, is because he says a lot of things that they resonate with. He is a semblance. I believe that he's kind of like a false version of masculinity. He's big, he's jacked, he's an MMA fighter. He could probably beat me up. I know he would. I mean, he could beat most anybody up he fights with. Again, he's the Ubermensch. Go back to the readings of Friedrich Nietzsche, right? He's that Superman. He's that new man, that ideal man, what the Red Pill Manosphere calls a high value man, right? It's just a new version of an old thing that we've heard hundreds of years ago. He holds himself up as the ideal of what a high value man is. But the fact is, what he did is not duplicatable. It is not sustainable. You are never going to be an Andrew Tate, because how many of you men have it in you to run a webcam studio where you and your brother are the actual guys that these lonely schleps are talking to? You're willing to commit digital acts of secret homosexuality. You're a dude having romantic, intimate sexual conversations with another dude, posing as a woman to get their money. How many of you are willing to do that? How many of you men are willing to be gay on camera for money? I'm not willing to be. So you're never going to be a top G with a Bugatti like Andrew Tate is, because that's what he had to do to become the top G that he is he ran a webcam studio based on lies, fraud, and deception. So the idea that he could put out this course, this Real World, or this whatever it is that he sells, this War Room, which I find interesting. If the War Room is so effective, how come it didn't get him out of jail? How come it didn't get him from being unarrested, right? But you're never going to be Andrew Tate, so don't try to be. Try to be you. Be the man that God made you to be. But again, the fatherlessness is a plague in our society. It's an epidemic in our society. You've heard me talk about that many times. And there's lots of millions of young men without fathers and without mentors. So when a guy like him comes along and he says all this cool stuff without them knowing who he truly is, without them knowing his past, without them knowing that he's a pornographer, and that's really was his claim to fame, they follow him. It's ignorance and it's naivete. So that's why. That's who their king is. So anyway, guys, it was good connecting with you guys. Like I said, I got pretty fired up from the Church Militant interview I did. They're going to publish it Sunday, which I believe is on the feast day of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. So be sure to watch that. I'll be sure to post it. And like I said, I thought I would dust off the mic and the camera. I already had it open for my interview I did earlier. I thought, you know what? Why not jump on with my peeps? I've lost followers, guys. I've lost thousands of followers. Every time I post something Catholic, I lose followers. There was a point, guys, when I was at the heat of my support for Trump, when I was running and gunning 3 years ago, every time I made a video, I'd grow by 500 followers, 300 followers. I grew by 4,000 followers in one night one time. When all that J6 stuff was at its peak, I blew up, guys. But I was not willing to pay the mental price that it took on me every day. It took a great toll on me every day to do that stuff. I made it look easy. I made it look like I was good at it, which I was, but it came at a price, man. I was sick of eating garbage every day, and I was sick of eating garbage and trying to make it taste like cake to you guys. That's what I got sick of doing. What's up? Welcome back. Love your beard. What do you use for your beard? I want to have a beard. Oh, thanks, bro. Well, here's what I do. I'll give you guys a little secret. shave with conditioner, right? So you got shampoo and you got hair conditioner. That's what I do. I use hair conditioner for my beard. It makes it soft and fluffy. And I just, rub it in every morning. Got a little salt and pepper going. But guys, if you want to have your beard soft and supple all day without spending a bunch of money, just take a little drop of hair conditioning, rub it in with some hot water, just rub it into your beard. Soft and supple all day. We miss you too. Need to start a men's group. You'll be our moral teacher. I'm open to that, George. I'm open to it. I'm open to that. I'm flattered that you would think of that. I've actually put things in place in my real estate business. I've hired out some staff to where I am going to have, I'm still very busy, but I am going to have a lot more time on my hands than I had the last few years because my business has grown and I've hired it out. I've hired out a lot of what I do. A lot of what I do, I can't hire out. I'm kind of afraid to hire out, but a lot of what I've done, I have hired out. I've got a great team in place and that is freeing me up to have more time to get back into ministry. So I am open to that, George. I really am. Just hanging out, guys. Anything else you guys want to talk about before I hop off here? May the grace and peace of God be with you as well, Charles. God bless you, brother. God bless you, Jordan. I will definitely keep up the good work. And so, yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Thanks for tuning in. I might do these a couple days a week. I don't know. It depends. It just kind of depends. But anyway, guys, like, share, subscribe this video. Share it. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I love you guys, and I will see you on the other side. Take care.